Coolers right here. I've got some footage of the other stuff that I've been doing, but so I basically have some saran wrap just because there's silicone underneath. And then so far I just want to trim off any of the excess inner tube. And what I'm going to do is been working on this for a day or two, and basically put a bead of glue at the bottom, and then I silicone the bottom, added silicone, and use a foam pad and things like that, and then it's clear silicone. Um, it's just because I just didn't want to make things look awkward with the other types of glues and things, or even I don't have like glue. Sometimes when it clears up, it kind of looks like it goes down below and stuff, but it actually starts clearing up after a couple of hours and things, and I'm probably going to keep an eye on it this time. It still need a couple of scissors to so next, I'm going to just take or just find the right measurement, and this ruler is basically just trying to get it at the on the line with the cooler. It's basically almost alongside and stuff. It's still short, kind of see on this side, so I'm gonna actually use my other hand and the rubber piece and try to score. I would actually score. I would actually try and maybe have the whole piece laid out kind of like this. Trim any excess, and then uh, just start cutting, and then I'll cut this inner tube in half, and then I should have some decent each piece would be kind of how I lined it up. I kind of hold it with one hand, and then just try to kind of match as much straightness with the lines in the inner tube. It's pretty much the cooler, and then there's the lid, this lid. So there's the bad side, I guess, cut. Kind of put that to the side if I need it. And then let's cut these other side pieces, these shorter pieces that pretty much go on the sides. So just keep myself organized. Yeah, this goes on the top of the lid. It can be trimmed up eventually, but put that to the side and then cut these. Alright, so there's one of those cut. And the thing is, I might just like use the underside, like this side. Needs to sort of out a protractor, and I could probably just, go 45 degrees from the pieces that I have. I've got pretty much an envelope here. I can make a small ruler, a small square, probably with this piece, since it's already, so let's try to do that. I can measure this and measure that and try to make a small 45-degree angle. So I got the ruler, a pen, and pencil, so I could just measure out. So this is pretty much 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna go 1.5 inches on the top and try to make a straight line. So right here I made a few lines. I even made the 45 degrees. So I need to cut out this square and then cut it into a triangle. So I've got the piece kind of like this. Now my items are 45 degree. Might be able to use one right here. And then I could imagine, and where I'm going to put. See, if I put it like this, it's really going to be awkward. So I got to keep imagining where I need things, and I could probably just score it and cut it and things. So I don't even need a razor, but I could use pretty much scissors. So on this side is gonna get cut there, and so should I use the inner tube side or the rows more? I could trim that off later, but as soon as I could get this, I might even use glue and things. I might close the lid, and the thing with this is I'll probably only need. I probably still need to cut two strips, I think. So these to protect the valve, so I could kind of measure and see the height, and I could probably use some extra pieces of wood. So I got a few pieces right here that I could use, and so I got all, a few random items here and there. So I need to try to set this cooler, and this probably go towards the back area, but everything or most of my stuff or this table isn't all the way supported. It's just hanging from this spot, so I'm going to have to just kind of move it to a better surface. Probably add another wood piece. That should be good enough just for now. I could just slide a few things. So yeah, definitely going to trim off the rubber side. So this is going to be a 3-row for the back of the cooler, for the lid and the cooler. So I'm going to just probably trim just these main pieces, and I'll probably remake this. This is supposed to be for the front of this, but it's really curved, I would think. It's a little too curved, but and I'm going to use 5-minute epoxy and things, and even with this curve, it would actually work good on the inner, the front. And yeah, so I can actually score it right now, and then so just rub this around for a few times, and then should be scored. So it doesn't have to be too exact or anything. I'm just trying to just get this kind of done, and also kind of like the bottom of this is going to be a little tough, so I gotta find it. Side edge. Alright, so that was pretty good because there were some nicks and things like that that couldn't really figure out, but smoothed out as much as I could. I'm gonna try to do the top while I can, and I could probably wipe off most of the stuff, but I'm gonna also use rubbing alcohol. I didn't do the so I wiped it all. I think I wiped all the dust or residue. And I guess it's a good time also to mention how these boxes are. YouTube, welcome back to Upside DIY. So I just placed or taped, I used tape, electrical tape, in 3 spots in the middle on each of these pieces. And there's a little gap right there, which isn't, it's just how it is. You know, it would be more difficult for other situations to get it perfect. So I'm just lining up this wooden stick. So, so at least it won't be too bad of a gap. And I'm going to use, when I apply the glue, I'm going to use this wooden stick to try to get it to stay straight, and with the 5-minute epoxy. Um, and don't really, well, I'm just this for later. And then now I just need to mix up some epoxy and just start to glue what I can. So just getting a wrapper, just a piece of plastic. So I got the epoxy right here. It's kind of running really low. Probably I can use probably crazy glue, but crazy for the last part. So I'm uh, you know, adjusting the tape and the rubber piece, and I'm gonna just mix this. Adjusting the tape and the rubber piece, and I'm gonna just mix this enough for each piece, one by one. So, okay, so I put the epoxy on both sides, on the rubber and also on the cooler. And then I use this piece of wood, and then I need to get another smaller piece and pressed in on the corners. And that's 5-minute epoxy. So it basically is going to dry fast and hold the bond. You know, didn't really worry about a big mess or anything after, but so I mixed the glue on this wrapper, and then just kind of started gluing it. I'm gonna try to look for a couple, at least one more. I had to use a little small lighter to hold both corners, I would say. But just lining it up with the tape first was most of the process of. So I'm gonna do the same thing, peel off the tape, mix up some epoxy, and then use a piece of wood and get a smaller piece of wood. The tape is already on there and stuff, so I could just get it ready for some glue. The 5-minute epoxy, I could try to probably add a little bit of the corner also, or the corner, that piece, when I'm. So after every piece I wash my hands. I use just basically ashes from like an ashtray or dirt, and I'll show you guys that. And then wash my hands, and then come back and do a final pretty much just a slight final glue pressure, I guess. Pressure. This can, I guess, I got like ashes in there. I just basically dip my hand in there, and the ashes basically sticks to the glue, and then put some soap, and pretty much the last parts of just showing off this part of the gasket. It's not, as perfect as other gaskets like on Bucket or other things, but it's pretty much a good improvement. It's a good improvement from what I have, I guess. And part is probably removing the tape, hoping it doesn't stick too much and ruin everything. So I'm gonna let things dry. Could probably close this. So I can just kind of close it for a minute. I don't really have to remove the tape or anything, but just to give it some form. And you kind of, imagine, I'm going to use probably like a belt and things to really hold this down. But